Hi everyone, welcome back. Hope you're all good. Today we have a special guest with us. This is my sister Jasmine.
Hi!
And we're basically doing a quick video with 5 tips on how to be a Christian at school. Being a Christian in school is hard because there's so much going on. It's like a wilderness period, but people don't know it. Everyone's very kind of here, there and everywhere. Don't really know where they fit in. And I guess with our generation, and maybe yours more so, like the things that come with it. So if it's like drinking, alcohol, drugs, all that stuff, it kind of makes it more difficult because you rather are seen possibly as an outcast or an outsider because you don't do those things. It's very hard to, I think in secondary school, maybe when your own personal sense of self hasn't developed as much, to basically stand there and stand firm in your faith that I'm really sorry, but I'm just not really about this life.
That's also where it can be hard because like you talking about alcohol and all that stuff. So like me, I don't take part in those actions, but I remember there was a time where I was like, if I don't do this, will people not like me, or will I find it harder to make friends if I don't act a certain way? And I think because I had the sense of God, it enabled me to, as you said, stand firm and not allow people to sway me.
It's because you have me in your life. What would you do? What advice or tips would you give to people who are in school right now and maybe are confused?
My top tip would definitely be to go to conferences and different things so that you can, again, be surrounded by people. So for me, when I went to Hillsong Conference, and I went by myself this time, so that enabled me to talk to other people and really be there for me, not just go because, oh, I'm going because Jocelyn's going. I went for myself so I could have the experience that I longed for. And so obviously it ended up being a very, very good experience for me, and I think it made me more confident in my faith and made me want to explore it more. So I think that's good for maybe not even for any age, but I think it's better to do things like that when you're older, because you understand and you know that you're doing it for yourself. You know?
I can understand. I don't know if I fully agree. I don't know. I think you can appreciate God and what He's doing in your life at any age, regardless of whether you're 16, 17, 12, 11. I definitely say that people develop maybe at different stages. So you might go to conference at the age of 11, but it might not hit you as much. Like you came with me when you were 14, 15?
Yeah, 13, 14.
Yeah. As much as you cried at that time and you felt something, I feel like you maybe didn't
understand.
You didn't necessarily understand, and maybe you didn't exactly. You were going over the bridge, but you didn't quite get there. And then, so then when you went back the second time, for you, I guess for you, as much as you were scared to go on your own, I think no one being there kind of helped you. And I think what you said about the whole thing about your experience, it being something that you'd longed for. I think with these things, you have to reach a point where you're intentional about it. If you're intentional about why you're going to certain places, and like you really just want to have an encounter with God, and you really just make that clear to Him, and you're like, God, no, this period of conference, I'm really going to feel you, and I want to just get to know you. There's no way He's just going to completely ignore that. I think that's something I've learned over the years, because I remember the last conference I went to, I remember coming out of it and just feeling so miserable because I was like, I felt absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And it's the worst feeling when everyone around you is either speaking tongues, crying, lying on the floor, and you're just like, it's not that I want to do all these things, but I do want to feel something. And I came out of that feeling like I felt absolutely nothing. And I realize now it's probably because I didn't go in it with any expectations. I didn't go in it with intentionality. I put everything on Him. I put the onus on Him, and He knows what I need and He knows what I want.
You didn't do your part.
But I didn't do my part.
That's what Mommy always said. God helps those who help themselves.
Heaven helps those who help themselves. I wonder if that's actually a real... I don't know. I wonder if that's a real phrase.
That's actually.
I hear Daddy say that all the time. That's his go-to answer.
My second tip is don't be afraid and be confident in your faith. Don't let other people put you down for what you believe in. I remember when I was first joining my school, I felt sort of afraid because I was joining a new school with new people. I didn't know where I was or where I stood. and I didn't know what other people would think about what I had to say. I didn't want people to judge what I was saying or disregard what I was saying. I didn't want to look like, oh, she's a Jesus freak. So I think if you're confident enough in your own faith, you will like stand firm, and what other people say doesn't affect you.
You need to be secure in yourself. You need to be confident in the Spirit. You need to be confident in what God has already shown you before. Like, you can't be confident in your own flesh. You can't rely on yourself, because as humans, as I said previously, we're very weak. So we're prone to just kind of going with where the wind blows us. We're prone to just going with what everyone else says, because that's what the crowd's doing. And sometimes we do it even subconsciously, we do it without thinking. You may not be perfect at it. We're all not perfect at it. But just learning how to stand firm in your faith. Asking God to give you more tests where you have to test yourself in standing firm in your faith, so that you can become more conscious of when you're not doing it.
People's words have so much power over us. Someone could say something to me about why I'm believing this, and it could make me question myself and question, okay, Jasmine, like what they said kind of makes sense. Why do you believe that? So, which is quite scary. Anything someone says can just change your perspective on something. So
I think another thing to add to that, when you're in a place where few people believe in the same thing as you, it's very easy to be made to feel like, or to even make yourself feel like you're being extra, like you're being overly Jesus-y. But at the end of the day, we're here in bodily form, but the most important thing is our spirit, and we want to end up eternally in heaven. So for me, like, it's something I still go through every day, where I just feel like, okay, Jocelyn, you're being too Jesus-y about that. But what does that even mean? At the end of the day, we need to be doing things to be like Jesus. We want to walk like Jesus. We want to become like Jesus. Jesus was a light in this world, and we've also been called to be the same thing, to be a light. So if you want to be a light like Jesus, you have to be like Jesus. So there's nothing you can ever do that's too Jesus-y, if that makes sense. If you want to live your life and go all out for him, fine, because I know that afterwards, at the end of the day, great, this life on earth, you have to enjoy it, but it's tough out here, you know what I mean? I know I'm going to be eternally happy somewhere else. I'm not going to get everything right, and God doesn't expect that, but let me do everything for God on this earth whilst I'm here in my bodily form and can be here. So don't ever think you're being too much, ever.
Next tip is explore your own ways of growing your intimacy with God.
You want to try that again?
Yes, please.
It's too strong.
Next tip is explore your own ways of growing your intimacy with God.
What do you mean by that, Jasmine?
Well, let me tell you, Jocelyn. So, on a personal level, the way I enjoy praising God is through music and through listening to songs that have meaning.
She can sing! Oh, sorry.
So I think it's very, very, very important for you to find your own way of praising God, because it will help you to do it, basically.
Okay.
In a more enjoyable way. So some people might really enjoy reading particular things or watching particular things, or in my case, listening and singing along to particular things. And that will help you to grow in your faith and grow closer to God. So basically know yourself and know what works for you.
I like that. Yeah. You can do your next point. I have nothing to add to that. That's quite a solid point.
Okay. Find people with common interests with regards to God. I think what's helped me is that, not even the majority, all of my friends are believers of Christ. I don't find it difficult to talk about my faith to my friends, because I know they believe in the same thing as me. Whereas if I was friends with someone or in a group of friends that disregarded everything I said and didn't believe the same things I did, then that would put me down and make it difficult for me to keep believing what I believe and keep trying to pursue my relationship with God. And as I said, words have so much power over people, so they could say anything that could change my ways. And I'm not just saying don't be friends with this person if they don't believe in Christ, because
there are a lot of awesome people who don't necessarily do.
But the more people you surround yourself with who do, it just makes life a lot easier, I think.
Another way you could describe it is that having people that can hold you accountable. It's all about accountability. Like Jasmine said, it's definitely not a thing about where you exclude yourself from people because they're not Christian. That is not the way it works. If there are people who don't believe in Christ, who don't really want to hang around you, then there must be a problem, because Christ attracted people who were atheists, who never believed. How can he save people? How can he bring people to God if they're already there? Do you understand? He's not saving any more souls than they're already there. You just become a clique. Definitely make sure that you make yourself open to other people coming in, but have godly community who are able to hold you accountable for when you're slipping. Maybe you're doing something that just isn't you. You need people there to keep you in check.
If you're having doubts, talk to people around you who will understand. I think when you talk to someone who is probably feeling the same way that you are, it builds up your confidence. Like, okay, I'm not the only one feeling like this. Why don't we help each other?
To add to that, if you're in a position where you find that you're in a position where you don't necessarily have anyone to talk to, because maybe you're the only person in your family who does believe, or maybe you're the only person in your school who does believe, you just feel very isolated. First of all, God is always there. Your Bible says a lot. There's nothing in there that isn't for you, trust me. I think we have a tendency to want to turn it immediately to people. And sometimes God just like, if you turn to me first, I could have given you the answer ages ago.
When I went to a Connect group session, someone said that just like you put your head on a pillow for comfort, God is that comfort. So she was just saying like his hand is the pillow and it's always there. It's never, if you turn left, turn right, the hand is always there for you to lay your hand on, no matter what you're going through. So if you've turned away from God, God is still there, like he's ready to take you again.
You can a bit more. Okay, I think the last point I want to give, the last tip, slash advice, slash I don't remember what it is. So if you're in a position where you're the only person in your year group, your class, your school who actually does have faith. A lot of people take that as a bad thing and they're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to grow? How is this going to help me? And I can't do anything in the school. God, why have you put me in this predicament? Why have you put me in this situation? God is watching over you so much and he knows every situation that you're in. Just know that you were placed. What if you were placed in that place to be that light? You're the only person that everyone can get to know God through. So if you leave there without having done anything because you thought it's all about me and I don't know what to do and I'm here on my own. If you're put there on your own, there was a purpose for you to be there on your own. God wanted you to do something there before you left. It doesn't mean at the end of it, if no one believes in him, you haven't done your job. Introducing him to someone, introducing God's love to someone, not the rules, because that's another thing. When I was in school, everyone just used to always think that I was judgmental, or because they maybe weren't following the 10 Commandments, or like that is not even the first thing that comes to my mind. I need to tell you about God's love, like God's love. And even in the Bible, in Romans, it talks about how you don't get into heaven by your works. You're not made righteous by your works. You're not made righteous by following these laws, these commandments that he's written out. Cool, awesome, he wrote them out. And he's like, he even knows that he wrote them out, but he also knows, yeah, I wrote them out, but I'm not really bothered. What I want you to know about is my love, and I want you to have faith in my love, and I want you to have faith in the fact that I sacrificed my one and only son for you.
That's why we're here to, as you said, save people and help people. I don't think people understand that having like some Christly figure with you makes a big difference. Like, I felt a big difference from before summer to now. I just feel more content. I feel like I have more guidance. He's kind of shown, he's opened my path a little bit more, made it more visible to me. Another thing I learned at conference was that God... Another thing I learned at conference... So another thing I learned at conference was the fact that God may have anointed you, but he may not have announced you yet. So he has his timeline set out for everybody. Jocelyn, you will have a baby when you're 25.
Hey.
Like, sorry, but like, sorry, but like he has it written down, right? So in my instance, I think God has anointed me in different ways.
Yay. My yay is different to your yay. That's what this girl's trying to say.
Is on a whole nother level. Anyway. Yeah, so I think he's anointed me with a voice. Not just like spoken, but
vocally singing.
Yeah, vocally. And so I think he has given me the gift of my voice so I can praise his name and help other people with their worshipping. And I also think he's anointed me with the idea of setting up this Bible study that I want to set up. However, I'm like here stressing because I don't know if people will come or who I'll reach or when it will start. But that's the whole point of the announcement. He hasn't announced me yet. He's working, he's making a spell, spitting the cauldron. Am I?
He's not a witch.
Sorry. He's making a He's making a concoction.
Hey! It's alright.
He's preparing me
Just said that.
for the announcement.
The final thing I was going to say is that don't feel like you deciding you're going to give your life to Christ at such a young age means that you're going to miss out on the fun. Ecclesiastes 11 verse 9 to 10. Young people, enjoy yourselves while you're young. Be happy. Let your heart be merry while you're young. Do whatever your heart desires. Follow the ways of your heart. Whatever you want to do, follow the ways of your heart and the sight of your eyes. God encourages us to enjoy ourselves at a young age because he knows we're not going to get our youth back. It's the best time. You don't have any responsibilities. Guys, adulting is a trap. I've experienced it a little bit for this year. If anyone wants to help me out, help me. Because growing up, it gets more difficult. It comes with more responsibility.
I'm even feeling it now with my A-levels. Sometimes I just want to...
Your A-levels are nothing, Jasmine. You haven't even reached uni. God wants us to enjoy our young lives. But he also doesn't want us to make mistakes that we're going to regret. It's not that you shouldn't make mistakes, but there are certain mistakes where they're just so easily avoidable. Why would you even put yourself in a position of making them? At the end of the day, when we make the sin, when we commit a sin, God automatically forgives us. He forgave us before we even committed the sin.
Original sin, RSGCSE.
He forgave us for the sin before we even committed the sin. But it's us that here on earth that have to fight with the enemy using that sin against you all the time. When you think you're getting somewhere, you've taken 12 steps forward, the enemy just drops that, oh, do you remember you did this? And then tries to bring you back. Don't give the enemy reasons to pull you back when you're moving forward.
Overcome the rope.
I was going to fist pump you, I didn't know what that meant. The rope.
The rope that... I don't know, when you spoke about the pulling,
The pudding?
The pulling, I just kind of imagined the rope.
Yeah, overcome the... You're right! Overcome the rope that's trying to trip you up. The devil just does this. You're going, you're running your race. That's what you meant, right?
Yeah.
You're running your race, you're going, you're running, you're looking straight, you're focusing. Just jump over the hurdle.
Yeah. Yes!
Can I just make my point?
Sorry.
When the devil does this with the rope...
The lasso.
Is it a lasso or lasso?
Lasso.
When he does that, use your eyes and just do a quick step.
A quick Fresh Prince movement.
Yeah. Let's wrap it up. 1, 2, 3.
Bye!
Thank you so much for watching. That is the end of the video. I hope Jasmine really inspired you because she inspired me. I'm not gonna lie, I low-key didn't expect to have any of this come out of her because this girl on a normal day is jokes.
The word of the Lord ran through me.
She speaks nonsense on a normal day, don't you, Caspina? No, but yeah, thank you so much for watching. Do you want to do the outro? I know some people... No, you got it all wrong.
No. Comment? Which one?
Yeah.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe.
On the beat as well.
Share it with your friends. And we hope to see you in the next video.
Follow me on Instagram, JASMINE_Cracker.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, thank you guys. See you later.
Sounds really good. What?